Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Dawn, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
Good afternoon and welcome inside Geisman Gymnasium as we get set for today's Northern Athletic Collegiate Conference men's volleyball matchup between your Concordia University Chicago Cougars and the visiting Eagles of Edgewood College. Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network bringing you today's game. And before we get to it, let's go through the starting lineups. First for the visiting Eagles, it is number 3, Jacob Bruns, number 4, Gavin Patterson, number 5, Desirian Hicks, number 8, Will Gerke, number 11, Jack Mullane, number 13, Max Dermody, and number 18, Owen Hartjes. Coaches are Brittany Reynolds, Jace Shiverly, Eric Peterson, and Katie Newberger, and the head coach of the Eagles is Jeff Thomas in his 4th season. Now for the starting lineup for your Concordia University Chicago Cougars, it is number 7, David Vales, number 10, Marcin Hoffman, number 11, Eli Mosher, number 15, the libero Van Gato, number 17, J.R. Stella, number 18, Leon Gazowski, and number 19, Sean Beckman. Assistant coaches for the Cougars are Peter Dabrowski, Danny Coates, Tyler Hollebeck, and Trent Weber. And the head coach of the Cougars in his second season at the helm is Greg Manos. Eagles coming into Geisman today, bringing a 5-12 overall record, 1-4 in conference play. They are riding a 4-game losing streak, all against conference teams, CU Dub, Aurora, Dominican, and Marion. They've been outscored in set play 12-1 during that 4-game losing streak. So this is an Eagles team who is really reeling right now. The Cougars, they're not having so much success either as of late, bringing a 6-10 overall record into play, 1-3 in NAC play, and they have dropped their past 3 games, 2 of which have been to NAC opponents. The most recent loss came this past Tuesday, a trip to University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. Stevens Point took that matchup, and that is how we got here today. As we are set to get underway, it'll be Desirian Hicks to serve and start this game off. Number 5 in the black jersey, and his serve is received by Hoffman and Sean Beckman. Does he get it inside the line? He does not. It is outside, so Eagles, they strike first here in Geisman. As Hicks goes back to serve once again. Eagles wearing their all-black unis with red lettering and numbering, attacking right to left on your screen, while the Cougars in their white jerseys with maroon and yellow stripes down the side. Van Gato in the yellow libero jersey. They are attacking left to right to start here today. As here's a 50-50 ball, and it looked like Harches got a piece of it as the lanky 6'5 sophomore out of Appleton, Wisconsin gets his team up 2-0 in the match as Hicks gets ready for a 3rd straight set. Eagles coming to Geisman from Madison, Wisconsin for this Saturday matinee as a block up front between Harches as well as number 4, Gavin Patterson. And the Eagles are rolling here early in set 1. 3-0 is the score as Hicks gets set for yet another serve. This one just over the net. Van Gato there for the reception. Mosher, he's going to go to Hoffman, and Hoffman gets CUC on the board. Able to pin that ball in no man's land as CUC ends the 3-0 scoring run the Eagles started the game off with. And now it'll be one of CUC's standout freshmen, J.R. Stella, 6'5", first year out of Hoffman Estates, as Harches goes up and dunks it for the point. Makes it 4-1 now in favor of the Eagles. Spring break coming to a close here on the campus of Concordia University Chicago. Classes resume this Monday as students and athletes alike get set for the back half of the spring semester. Really the last quarter of school this year as a whole, hard to believe. We're already getting there. Meanwhile, men's volleyball for CUC trying to pick up some steam in conference play. This is a team who made the conference tournament for the first time ever last season, first year under Greg Manos. As Hoffman gets a lucky tip of the net, Harches pushes it over Gato, Mosher, Stella. That's blocked up front. Eagles able to recover off the block. Here's a back row attack, and in the back row it's Hoffman to save it. As Vale sends one way out of bounds, and CUC in a 5-2 hole now. But again, CUC trying to make that push for the playoffs. It is all conference play from here on out after Tuesday's loss to Stevens Point. Aurora, St. Norbert, WLC, Illinois Tech, Milwaukee School of Engineering, Dominican, and Marion remain on the schedule for CUC. So despite the lackluster start to conference play, that 1-3 record, and the lackluster start to this game as a big block from the Eagles makes it 6-2, there's still plenty of time for course correction for Coach Manos and his very young squad. This is a team that only has 2 upperclassmen in it, David Vales, the senior, and then Sean Beckman, who transferred to CUC this year for men's basketball, joined men's volleyball after the men's basketball season ended a few weeks ago. Other than those two, everyone else on this roster, a sophomore or a freshman, a very, very young squad for the second-year head coach to try and pull some talent from and hopefully go back to the conference tournament for a second time in as many years. As a 50-50 ball is brought back by the Eagles, and now the whistles blow. 2-touch called on Edgewood as CUC able to get back within 2 off a couple straight points. Beckman goes back to serve once more, as his serve is a good one. Going down for it was Max Dermody. There's Stella Mosher going to set back up. Stella, a little give and go, and it pays off. The libero for the Eagles wearing the white jersey, Jacob Bruns, not able to get a good enough angle on that one. It sails out of bounds as CUC. 3 straight points. They're back within 1 now. Serve from Beckman is good. As here comes an attempt, and it's a good one from number 12, Ryder Hill Zastrow. Couple subs for Edgewood, as coming in to serve is number 7, Will Haystrader. The junior out of Madison, a hometown product for the Eagles. There's a good serve. Hoffman had to go down to grab it. Blocked back up against the Cougars off the Vales attempt. He gets another one, and in the back row, it was Dermody. And here's a strong attempt. Van Gato right there, but that ball's over the ladder official and out. So after CUC able to get a couple points back, make this a 1-point game. The Eagles get 2 straight. It's back to a 3-point game now. Serve received by Gato. Here's J.R. Stella, and that dig goes out, but getting it back in. Nice play by number 8, Will Gerke. And a block up front, partially by Gerke. He's been everywhere on this volley. A soft touch. David Vales is right there. Vales, a strong attempt, and that one lands on the court after the block. So good defensive effort from the Eagles, specifically Will Gerke. But in the end, David Vales get too many touches. He's going to pay off on one of them. The senior leader of this team, Coach Manos, in coach's interviews, has talked very highly of the lone senior on this squad. 57 sets played, 137 kills so far. That is 3rd on the team for Vales, only trailing the team leader, Marcin Hoffman, and then J.R. Stella. So Vales provides so much more to this team than just the kills. His leadership, again, as the only senior and the only returning upperclassman, as the other upperclassman, Beckman, was a mid-season ad for the Cougars, and a strong hit there gets the Eagles back on top by 2. So CUC's done a good job closing the gap here, but they just haven't been able to catch up to the Eagles quite yet. Hoffman falling to his knees for that, and Gazovsky, that's blocked. No Cougar in the vicinity to pick it back up, and it's now a 3-point game again. So Gerke set for another serve. This one right to the libero, Gato. Here comes J.R. Stella, and he gets all of that one. It hits a couple fingertips, but not much the Eagles can do when Stella's really able to rev up for a hit. The Eagles, they're looking for their first ever win against the Cougars. CUC 2-0 all-time against the Eagles, dating back to 2022. As this ball has bounced around a couple of times, Hoffman able to send it over. Gerke, and that is hit into the net by Hicks. And we have a 1-point game once again, 10-9. But the 2022 match between the two ended in a 3-1 victory for CUC at Edgewood. And then the 2023 last year's matchup, a 3-0 sweep for the Cougars right here in Geisman, as that ball eludes a diving Gato to make it a 2-point game again, 11-9. So CUC perfect against Edgewood in their career. Only slip up was losing one set in 2022. Other than that, they are 6-1 in set play, 2-0 in match play. But the Eagles are looking to reverse that, as both of these teams, one conference win apiece, trying to pick up some momentum as we start to hit the important part of the schedule, as the Eagles grab another point. That one right in front of Gato. As back to serve again is Jack Mullane. Mullane serve is up and way over. Too much sauce on that hit. Sails out of bounds, and we're back to a 2-point deficit for CUC as they're going to send Gazowski back to serve. Serve from the freshman is a soft one, but Edgewood had a little trouble getting it back up. Gerke able to get it on the second touch, and here's Hoffman. That ball is popped up and hits the ceiling and takes a bad bounce. Ceiling always an important factor here in CUC with the lower hanging pieces of it that help support the ventilation system, as well as the folded up basketball hoops that are hang pretty low as well. A lot of funky bounces can be found here in Geisman, and that one got the Eagles, but then a bad serve from CUC makes it 13-11 again, as they just cannot tie this game up. Every time they get within a point, Eagles able to get some more distance between them, as Hoffman revved up for a hit, and he just pushes that one out of bounds. Tried to send over a freebie, a little too much on it, as it's now a 3-point game once again. Hicks gets the serve call from his coach as the ball is up and over. Vales for Mosher, a soft touch by Beckman, and coming into play it was Patterson. And that's a big block. Marcin Hoffman fired up, building the brick wall, sends it right back in the face of the Eagles. And the Cougars back on the service line, as it will be Stella. Trailing by 2, 12 serving 14. Served by Stella right at number 11, Mullane. And that hit goes out. Did it touch any fingertips? It did not. Point Cougars back within 1. This has been the struggle point for CUC. Always, whenever they get within 1 of the Eagles in this first set, the Eagles just seem to go on a mini run to pull away again. See what they can do here. Good serve reception as Mullane a back row attack into the back row with Vales. Stella blocked up front, popped up there by Patterson. And there's a good pop up by Gato. Hoffman sends over a freebie. Strong attempt, and it lands. Patterson not going to be denied, as just like we've seen plenty of times in this first set, the Eagles able to pull away again after it was a 1-point game. Patterson, after getting the kill, his serve is way out. So we're back at a 1-point game. See if CUC can finally tie this one up. We have not been tied up since the 0-0 point of this match. Hoffman serve up and over. It's a good serve. Edgewood can play. Here's Harches, and he pings it in the corner. Owen Harches, the sophomore, gives his team a 2-point lead again. As it'll be Max Dermody. Serve hits the top of the net, a very favorable bounce. Marcin Hoffman got all tangled up And that's going to force the first time out of the day from Greg Manos, his team, in a 3-point hole. They trail the Eagles 17-14 here in set one. We'll be back in just a second here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the men's volleyball program, tune into CUCougars.com. We hope to see you at our next game.
Back here in Geisman, timeout from the Cougars wrapping up. The Eagles back on the court. They lead CUC 17-14 as the Cougars are wrapping up their huddle. Now they break it out and make their way back onto the court. It's been a close game so far. CUC just cannot find that final push to tie this one up. They've come within 1 point of the Eagles many times here in set one. The Eagles showing some good resolve, able to always pull away whenever it's a 1 point game. Here comes Vales. Vales good. Pop up on the dig by Jacob Bruns, and there's a kill. Hartjes, a sophomore, starting to come alive here as it's now 18-14. Hartjes only listed at 6'5", but might be hard to tell on your screen. He has a ton of wingspan, a lot of length to kind of add a little extra height, even though 6'5" isn't extraordinarily tall by volleyball standards. Hartjes' length in the arms department able to make up for it. As here comes a back row attack and a kill from Patterson, as that timeout proving to be ineffective for the Cougars. They are continuing to spiral here late in set one. A 4-0 scoring run for the Eagles as Dermody, good serve. Deontay Garcia, the sophomore, goes down to pick it up. Blocked there, and good reaction time by Hartjes. His momentum is carrying him away from the ball, able to stick his arms out, and a good little flip there by Eli Mosher. CUC's standout sophomore setter, who is the school record holder for career assists already. He's able to do that little flip move that he loves to do so much. A lot of setters like to pull that out of their bag of tricks. As Hartjes, all the Cougars were bunched up towards the front of the line, and Hartjes, all he had to do was pop it behind him. Nobody in the vicinity. And because of it, it's now a 5-point game, 22-15. Haystrader serve, no good, right into the net. And because of that, CUC getting back within 4, 20-16, as Mosher ready to serve. CUC's going to need a lengthy run here to get back in this set. We haven't seen that from them yet today. They're not going to get one off the serve. Block up front. Good reach by Deontay Garcia. Good save by Mosher as Vale sends over the freebie. That hits off the top of the net. So CUC able to play it. Stella into the back row. It's no court, and this one goes out. Did it touch? No touch. CUC point again. They're back within 3. Eagles, they need 5 points to clinch this first set. The Cougars need 8. Mosher's serve is good. And big block up front. Does it stay in? It does not. It goes out of bounds. Just barely over the line. That was called by line judge Rianne Valera. One of our 4 officials of the day, as the Eagles hit Gazovsky on that. And that's going to force another timeout by Coach Manos as his team trails 22-17. Speaking of officials, our 4 for today, the line judge is John Weiss. Todd Roth near the scores table. Already mentioned Rianne Valera. And then Demetrios Panagiotidis is the other line judge opposite of Valera. But let's look at some of the team stats now, as CUC struggling to hit the ball here, hitting at an .069 percentage, while the Eagles not hitting it exceptionally high, 273, but when your opponent's hitting below 100, anything average even is going to be good enough. On the season, they are only hitting 139, the Eagles are, so they are hitting well above average for their metrics. And they're holding opponents to a 174, so the Cougars hitting well below the average of what the Eagles allow. In terms of other noticeable stats, the Eagles have 3 blocks to the Cougars 1. They also have 3 service errors to the Cougars 1, so the serving could be a little cleaner for the Eagles. Kills 14-8 in favor of the Eagles. Cougars have 1 more attack error, 6-5. But other than that, a lot of these metrics are very similar, as that ball is long gone off the hands of Will Gerke. So the Cougars, they get the point out of the timeout. They get 22-18 as David Vales gets set to serve. Vales always uses a very lengthy run-up. That time he kind of shorted it. Served well before he got to the line. Still was a good serve as the Cougars are back on the attack. There's a block. It goes out. So CUC 2 points out of timeout. They're back within 3. They're back within 3. The Eagles, they're within 3 of claiming set 1. So CUC, hopefully this is the start for them of the run they desperately need. As this ball almost into the Edgewood bench, able to save it was Gerke. Gato, he's going for Hoffman. Hoffman way out of bounds. No touch by the Eagles, so Edgewood point. CUC, they're trying to argue it was a touch. They get no love from John Weiss, the ladder judge. And because of it, the Eagles 2 away from claiming set number 1. Jack Mullane. Serve. Gato, good dig, but putting it right back on the court was Gavin Patterson. The dig from Gato went over the net so quick. CUC had a little time to process where it was. And because of that, we are at set point for Edgewood. Mullane. Serve is over. Vales. Mosher. He goes for Hoffman. Blocked up front, and that'll do it. Patterson and Hicks get the job done at the line. And the Eagles take set number 1, 25-19. Cougars have some work to do as they're looking to avoid a 4th straight loss and pick up their 2nd win in conference play. So we'll see what happens when we resume play here in Geisman. Set 2 coming at you shortly. Eagles up 1-0 in the match. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Cougar Sports Network.
And finding out more about Concordia Chicago, head to cuchicago.edu for information on our university. We appreciate you turning into today's game and hope to see you at CUC very soon.
Set 2 coming at you shortly here in Geisman. Peter Borkowski with you on the Cougar Sports Network. Spring break coming to a close here at CUC. Most of the student body likely returning tomorrow on Sunday before classes resume Monday. But men's volleyball, they've been here during the week. They took on Stevens Point on Tuesday. They had a little mini trip to Wisconsin, did some fun activities up north from what I heard, other than just play a volleyball game. And now they're back here in Geisman, ready to resume conference play, and they find themselves in a 1-0 match hole against the Eagles. As we look at some of the stats, leader Gavin Patterson getting it done for the Eagles with 7 kills. In terms of the assists, it is Will Gerke with 11, and your digs leader of the night so far is Max Dermody with 4. So Eagles are dominating the leaderboard, and that's likely why they won the first set. CUC, they never tied the Eagles after the 0-0 mark, so they got some work to do here as we're off in set number 2. Hicks, good move there, and a block up front, another block, and that goes down. The Cougars are trying to say he came over the net. John Weiss, the ladder judge, says no go. And it is 1-0 in favor of the Eagles here in set 2 as Hicks goes back to serve. He was the first server of this game, and now he's the first Eagles server of set 2. His serve is good. Vales, Mosher pops it up. Here comes Vales again. Good hit. That hits the roof of the building. I guess I should say the ceiling of the building since we are inside, if you want to be technical. And the Cougars' dig attempt goes out of bounds. Well, despite the fact we are indoors, they have a weather delay here during the last home game when the Cougars took on Benedictine last week, and a service ace coming up for the Eagles. So I don't know if weather delay inside Geisman Gymnasium was on anybody's bingo card this year, but we did in fact have it last week. There was a tornado warning and some really interesting weather last Tuesday. Luckily, everybody made it out okay. The game resumed. Benedictine ended up winning it, but obviously the important thing is no tornado took down Geisman. Meanwhile, the Cougars, they get on the board here in set 2. It is 3-1 as Vales' serve is popped up in the back row. And there's a floater. Van Gato, nice move to pick up the dig. And J.R. Stella, a rocket. Not much Jack Mullane can do about that one. Stella, despite being just a freshman, 154 kills coming into tonight. He has 5 already. He is the Cougars' leader in that department so far today. He is impressed mightily as a freshman. While the Eagles continue to impress here on the court, they make it 4-2. But despite what the record may say, this is a talented Cougars team, despite their youth as well. J.R. Stella has slotted in it nicely, as has Marcin Hoffman. Sean Beckman has really fit in nicely since joining the team just a handful of weeks ago. Van Gato has already broken the single-game digs record, as has the first-year libero. The sophomore getting a chance to shine here in his second year in the maroon and gold. David Vales with his senior leadership. This is a well-rounded Cougars team, despite how small they are, as this ball is still alive. Oh, my goodness. J.R. Stella finally ends it, but that ball barely hit off, I think it was the toes of some player, and they're able to get it up. Still able to finish off the kill, but a wacky play from the Eagles defensively. Luckily, CUC able to maintain their offensive poise and finish the play. Gazovsky, his serve, and Mullane has trouble receiving it. Good one-handed hit there by Bruns, and the Eagles get it back over in desperation mode. Here comes Stella. That hits off a player and goes out, and for the first time since the start of both sets, the Cougars have tied the Eagles. Once there's a score up on the board, it is 4-4. Eagles led tape to tape last set. They've led all of this set until now. See if the Cougars can get their first lead of the day. Gazovsky It won't be on that serve into the net, and the Eagles back up by 1. Back to serve is Dermody, junior out of Zion, Illinois. A lot of Wisconsin all over the roster sheet for Edgewood as Sean Beckman finishes the kill. Beckman, I mentioned it, he has really been performing well since joining the team. He's played in 8 sets, has gotten himself 15 kills, and coming in today, that's an average of 1.9 a set. And of course, he is 6'8". He is the tallest player on this Cougars team. So his frontline defense, you can't teach height, and Beckman certainly has height. The basketball big man has translated nicely to the volleyball game. But back to the Edgewood roster, every player on this squad, besides 3 of them, come from Wisconsin. Dermody, I mentioned, from Zion. Josh LaBarbera, we haven't seen him tonight. He's from Beach Park, Illinois. And then Bryce Robel, we haven't seen him either. He's from Plainfield. Every other player, though, WIS is in the back of their hometown. This is a Wisconsin-heavy Eagles team, while the Cougars, plenty of Illinois blood on it. As Ayaz Reef, haven't seen him yet. David Vales, Marcin Hoffman, Van Gato, J.R. Stella, Leon Gazowski, and Sean Beckman all hail from in-state. But a little diversity with Deontay Garcia from Aurora, Colorado. Tiki Johnson from Indianapolis, and then Eli Mosher from Ohio. So these are 2 teams that recruit heavily in their home states. CUC does have a little bit more diversity in that trio I mentioned. But it's usually what you get when you find a small school. A lot of home state talent. Meanwhile, on the scoreboard, we're tied up at 7. As Will Gerke, his serve is popped up. It's almost a 50-50 ball, flipped by Mosher. Gerke's there to pop it back up. J.R. Stella comes into play. Sean Beckman goes for the kill, and he gets it off the blocker's hands and out. So Sean Beckman, he's got 3 kills now, starting to come alive a little as he goes back to the service line. Probably would not be able to tell that he was exclusively a men's basketball player less than a month ago, as he has fit in really well with this Cougars volleyball team. Coach Manos and Coaches Weekly spoke very highly of Beckman's work ethic, always asking questions, wanting to be a student of the game, which is, as a coach, what you really want to see out of some new blood on the squad, freshman or otherwise. And Beckman being a transfer to CUC this year from Harper College. Came for basketball, joined the men's volleyball team after the basketball season, because why not? And he's been performing well since. But the Eagles, they tie up this game at 8. Jack Mullane ready to serve. A strong serve, and J.R. Stella had performed some acrobatics to get out of the way of that serve. It was coming in hot. He's able to jump out of the way of it. Probably would have definitely hit him. Not probably, would have definitely hit him at his feet and been a service ace. Instead, he skips out of the way. It's a service error. Cougars back up by 1. A block there, and it's down, and now we're tied up again. The Eagles not going away quietly despite trailing recently. Able to keep tying it up. See if they can finally get the lead back. Here's Hicks on the service line. Hicks, ball up and barely over. Is a very soft serve as Stella off the blocker's hands and out. And here's David Vales now. So received by the Eagles, a 50-50 ball, and it's brought down by Dermody. A strong hit at the net, and we're tied up again at 10. So it's the first of 15 now for both squads. A strong serve. Van Gato in the back row picks it up. Hoffman. His attempt goes nowhere, and off the blocker's hands and down. That is Harches, one of those Wisconsin products I was talking about from Appleton. As he makes it 11-10, the Eagles with their first lead in a minute here. And Gato has to go all the way down for it. Mosher, there's Stella in no man's land, right out of reach of Patterson. And we're knotted up at 11. Neither team able to pull away with this score. Last time we had a multi-point lead in this set, it was 4-2 in favor of Edgewood. Since then, it has been a 1-point game or it's been tied, and right now it's a 1-point game in favor of the Eagles. Dermody taking his time on it. This serve, as there's Hoffman. Mosher for Stella, and it goes out. I think might have hit the pin as well. No touch by the Eagles, so that makes it 13-11. And there's that 2-point lead we were looking for. Unfortunately for the Cougars, it's the Eagles who are holding it. Gato. Hoffman, a big block on the Hoffman attempt. A combination of Gerke and Harches. And after that emphatic block, Coach Manos has to use his first time out of the set. His Cougars are down 14-11 here in set 2. They trail 1-0 in the match. We'll see what happens when we come back here in just a second on the Cougar Sports Network.
Hey there, we appreciate you tuning into today's game. To stay up to date on all things CUC men's volleyball, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUC MVP. We'll see you on campus soon.
Timeout over here in Geisman. Cougars, they trail 14-11 against the Edgewood Eagles. Peter Borkowski joining you on the Cougar Sports Network. Flying solo today as we wait for some of our other broadcasters to return to campus. As we get ready for the final 8 weeks of the school year. Hard to believe we're already here, as every sport has either played this year or is currently playing. Every spring sport is in action this past week. Softball and baseball spent spring break down in sunny Florida. Softball started their season down there. Baseball had already started their season the weekend before in St. Louis, so they continued it. And a service ace there for the Cougars, and they are back within one. As for the other spring sports, men's tennis is back at it. Women's tennis has been getting some games in as well. Men's lacrosse has started their season. They're 3 games in already. And then men's volleyball kind of in that weird starting position. They start really at the end of the winter season and carry over to about the midway point of the spring season. That weird start time that places volleyball in both the winter and spring seasons. As a service error there from Haystrader makes it 15-14. But basketball has wrapped up their season within the past month. And of course, all the fall sports have been done long enough that they're getting ready to start their spring seasons, spring practices. Sports like football and women's volleyball will start getting some work in as they prepare for the fall of next year already. Get a head start on some practices, and David Vales hits right in the blocker's hands. It dies down, and we're knotted up at 15. First to 10 now here in set 2. Cougars trying to tie this up at 1 set apiece, while the Eagles trying to take that commanding 2-0 set lead. Serve from Garcia. Patterson able to receive it. Now Gato receives it on the other end for CUC. Oh, nice dig there by Patterson. He sold out for it as Sean Beckman, and that's a good dig there by Bruns, but the ball ends up hitting the net on Edgewood's side, and the Cougars coming out of the timeout have taken the lead 16-15 thanks to a 3-0 scoring run. An attack error, a David Vales kill, and a service error is how we got here. Here's Garcia. Serves it into the hands of Ryder Hill-Zastrow. And Sean Beckman, does it get a piece? It does not. And we are tied up again, 16-16. A very tight set 2, anybody's ball game. A pivotal set as well. Edgewood trying to take that 2-0 set lead, as I said. They would just need one more to win, while the Cougars trying to tie it up at 1 set apiece, make it the first of 2 sets. As Vales, a little poke, and selling out for it was Patterson. He's been playing some great defense in this set, as the Cougars are having a hard time getting around him. That goes out of bounds, not off any blockers. And the Eagles back in front now, 17-16. These teams are trading leads, tying each other up. Definition of a back and forth affair here in set 2. Garcia, a bad reception. Gato has to go back and save it. Freebie sent over so Edgewood can set up their attack. That's blocked up front and down. Mosher and Beckman combining. And we're tied up again, 17 all. As Beckman now back to serve. Beckman and J.R. Stella share a hometown of Hoffman Estates. Went to different high schools, however, as they've both found some pivotal roles on this Cougars team in their first year on the squad. Cougars able to keep it alive. Here's Vales right into the blocker's hands and down. And the Cougars back in front. So these teams basically trading 2-point runs back and forth. See if Beckman can give the Cougars their first multi-point lead in quite a while. As this one popped up by Garcia. Good defense there. Vales, a floater. And Edgewood able to play it. Blocked up front, Gazovsky, but it's going to be a point for the Eagles. I believe it went out, so 18 all now. And back to serve is Moulin. Moulin gets the whistle from John Weiss, the ladder official. Serve is up and over. Gato bends over to pick it up. Here comes Vales off the blocker's hands and out. David Vales having himself a nice night. 5 kills, tied for second on the team with Marcin Hoffman. J.R. Stella is the team leader in kills so far with 9, tied with Gavin Patterson for the game lead in kills. Mosher's serve. As Patterson, his floater gets blocked up front. Another attempt, that's blocked as well. Stella and Gazovsky and the Cougars finally have themselves a 2-point lead. And that's going to be the first time out of the day from Jeff Thomas and the Eagles, as they find themselves in a multi-point hole here in set 2. They're trying to take a 2-0 set lead. Cougars, they lead 20-18, try to tie up the match. We'll have more action for you in just a minute when we're back on the Cougar Sports Network.
We love the support you give us on and off the court. We would love if you could help us with our athletic communication department with some donations. Hit the thank button. It's down in the lower left corner. This helps us continue to have the best live stream possible for some great Cougar men's volleyball moments. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the
Both teams break up the huddle even though they have a couple seconds left in the timeout. Eli Mosher ready to serve for the Cougars as the timeout buzzer rings there. Cougars trying to pull away here in set number 2. They're up 20-18. They trail 1-0 in the match as Mosher's serve is a softie. Edgewood able to pick it up, and Patterson, does he keep it in? He does. Gavin Patterson hits double-digit kills with that one. He's at 10. And he's hitting almost at the 500 mark. He is hitting exactly at the 500 mark, in fact, after that last attempt. As Gazovsky, it's blocked, and it's knocked backwards by Harches. Jack Mullane kind of got caught off guard as the Eagles trail by 2 once again. Here's Vales. Mullane. And a good kill there. Patterson continuing to thrive in this game. And they're back within 1 now, 21-20. Kill number 11 for Patterson. He's hitting at a 529 mark. Owen Harches hitting at a 583 mark. And Patterson does commit the service error, so CUC back up by 2. And checking in for the first time today is Tiki Johnson. Johnson's first serve of the day is a good one. Harches gets it out. And so because of that, it's 23-20 now. CUC 2 away from claiming set 2. Johnson's serve following for the dig was Jacob Bruns. Here comes Hoffman, and that is a dig back to the Cougar side. Mosher picks it up. Stella off the blocker's hands and way out of bounds. And that is set point now for CUC, 24-20. Tiki Johnson gonna try to end this set, tie up the match at 1. Johnson, Bruns, Harches, a huge slam, and that is going to keep us going here in set 2. Eagles need 3 more points in a row to force extra volleyball here in set 2. Cougars, they need just 1 to clinch the set. As Max DeMarty serve is right to David Vales. Mosher first J.R. Stella. It's blocked and out, and that'll do it. Set 2 ends in the way of the Cougar. They take it 25-21, and we are all tied up in the match, 1 set apiece. As the teams will switch sides, we'll take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network, and we'll get ready for set number 3. CUC Edgewood tied up at 1 set apiece. So we'll be back for more men's volleyball action in just a minute. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network.
Thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the men's volleyball program, tune into CUCougars.com. We hope to see you at our next game.
Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. We're here inside Geisman Gymnasium as the Cougars and the Eagles all tied up at 1 after the Cougars took set 2, 25-21. Let's look over some of the team leaders for today's matchup. The kills leader for the game is a tie between Gavin Patterson with 11 and Jackson Stella with 11 as well. The digs leader is Jacob Bruns with 6. With 9, while Deontay Garcia and David Vales both have 6 digs for the Cougars. As for assists, Eli Mosher has taken the reins on that leaderboard. He's got 22. Will Gerke with 20. Blocking leader, Gavin Patterson has 3. Sean Beckman has 3 for the Eagles and the Cougars respectively. And the points leader, a tie between Gavin Patterson and Jackson Stella with 12.5 points each. So it'll be Hicks to start us off here in set 3. It hits the top of the net, hits Hoffman in the face, and now hitting the pin on his attempt is Vales. So that makes it a 1-0 lead for the Eagles. They've struck first in every set so far. I'm going to see they went on to win set 1, lose set 2, so not really a good indicator of the future outcome. Here's Mosher. Vales, a hard hit right into the Eagles bench. No touch, so Eagles get a point out of it. They're up 2-0 now. Set 2, an incredibly close affair. Neither team ever really pulled away from each other until the Cougars at the very end ended up winning the set by 4. And now a violation on CUC, 2-touch rule called. CUC, the players look a little confused over the call, but it stands. And a kill there by Harches. And that'll make it 4-0. And that's going to force a quick timeout from Coach Manos and the Cougs. So we're going to take a timeout here on the Cougar Sports Network as well, and when we come back, the Eagles shoot out to a 4-0 lead here in set 3, trying to take a lead in the match. We'll see what that happens when we come back in just a second on the Cougar Sports Network.
And finding out more about Concordia Chicago, head to cuchicago.edu for information on our university. We appreciate you turning into today's game and hope to see you at CUC very soon.
Timeout ending early here, 26 seconds still on the timeout as both teams are already back on the court ready to play. Hicks' serve is up and over. Hoffman for Mosher. Stella, little underhand tip, and the Eagles pick it up. And a big hit there, and it does not touch anybody, so CUC back on the board as David Vales gets ready to serve. Cougars down by just 3 now as Vales is served. And Gato launches that one out off the dig over the head of our scores table. And so Edgewood takes a 5-1 lead as Patterson, who's been the MVP for the Eagles so far today. Serve is a soft one. Gato comes flying up with the dive for the dig. It's Mosher for Hoffman. A floater hit the top of the net. Took a second to think about what it wanted to do. Mosher pops it up. Gato does the same, and Mosher just flips it over the freebie. Here comes Harches, blocked up front, and Stella able to get it on the recovery. We're still going. Blocked up front again, but the Eagles able to play this one. Back row attempt. Stella lays out for it. Mosher laid out for it, and now a point for Edgewood as Stella's attempt was outside the pins. And that'll make it 6-1. So after a close set one, a very, very close set two, the Eagles have jumped out to a 5-point lead here as Gato takes a hard serve, and now Stella gets a point for CUC. Makes it 6-2. Tiki Johnson receiving it was Mullane. Cougars scramble to pick it up and blocked up front. They get it over though off a rebound, and this ball goes out. No touch by CUC, so they get a point back, and they're down 6-3 now as Tiki Johnson back to serve. And a slow serve that just kind of kept going until it was out of bounds, and that'll end a mini CUC run. 7-3 our score as back to serve is Dermody. And Gato's there, and the putback by Hill Zastrow, one-handed, and it is 8-3 as the Eagles look dominant here in set number 3. Dermody, another strong serve. Vales goes down for it. Stella comes away with the kill. Dermody can't get down in front of it in time, and because of that, it is 8-4. J.R. Stella trying to get the Cougars within 3. Won't do it on the serve. And Gato, nice dig, went back to the Edgewood side. Here comes Hoffman, and that ball's popped up back to the CUC side. Beckman and Mosher wins the 50-50 battle. And they are back within 3. See if they can make it 2. "13 kills for Stella. He leads the match as that serve is put back towards the Cougars. Whistle blow, however. 2-touch rule called on the Cougars, and that makes it 9-5. Coming in to serve is Will Haystrader. And a low serve. Vales has to go down for it. Eagles get it back. They send over the freebie. There's Stella. Here comes Hoffman, blocked up front. Beckman picks it up, and they go right back to Beckman off the assist by Mosher. It goes nowhere. And now a strong attempt, and this one's going to sail out of bounds. So CUC back within 3 now, 9-6. CUC is going to bring in Deontay Garcia to serve. Garcia serve. Patterson's there to get it. Ball bobbled a couple times by CUC as Stella now goes for the attempt, and a lane out for it was Patterson. Brunn sends over a freebie. Stella for Mosher. He flips it a little too hard as that went into the back row. Enough time for Dermody to read it, and now hitting the pin is the Eagles, and the Cougars back within a pair. Garcia ready for yet another serve. And Beckman try to go for the slam dunk if you want to go back to his basketball season. It got blocked, but the block went out of bounds, and because of it, it is a 1-point game. Edgewood looked very much in control of this set, and the Cougars, thanks to a good run here, are back within 1. Garcia, serve. It's a 50-50 ball, tied up. It lands on the Cougars side. They can play it. Stella off the blocker's hands and to the back row. We're still going here. And that's a point and a kill for Ryder Hill Zastrow. It'll be his 7th of the day. As Gerke goes back, 10 serving 8. Number 8 to serve. And Gerke. Garcia, weird reception, and that ball hits the pin. And that makes it 11-8 now in favor of the Eagles. Gerke back to serve once more. Serve is up and over. There's Gato, Mosher, for Vales, off the blocker's hands and down. Cougars back within 2 after Edgewood able to pull away a little more with Sean Beckman ready to serve. Cougars get another point. They make it 11-10 now with Beckman ready to serve. Trying to tie this 3rd set up. First time we would have this set since it was 0-0. Mosher for Stella, a floater. Bruns comes in, picks it up. That attempt blocked is going out. Bruns saves it, however. The Eagles push it over. Mosher and Vales, the floater, and coming up for it. And there's a block and down. So Edgewood, thanks to some good defense from Dermody, excuse me. They are back up by 2, 12-10. Mullane. And that putback, does it go out? It does go out, excuse me. Is it a touch? It is. And that makes it 13-10. Edgewood, by quite a bit early in the set, trying to get back to that point as it's a 3-point game now. Lane. Garcia's there. Mosher, flip, and the Eagles pick it back up. Gato in the back row. Mosher for Stella. Does it go off some fingertips? It does. Cougar point. Back within 2. Here's Mosher. Patterson, oh my goodness, a rocket. Deontay Garcia couldn't do much about that. Patterson's been having himself a day. He'll get kill number 14, ties J.R. Stella for the match lead. Coming into today, Patterson was second on the team in kills with 130, only behind Ryder Hill-Zastrow. On this pace, Patterson will lead the kills leader on the season as Harches adds to his total. He's having a good game too as he hits double-digit kills with 10. He came into the game third on the team in kills with 120. He's at 130 now as we are just about midway through this third set. Hicks, good serve. Mosher Stella. J.R. Stella gets it past the solo blocker, and Patterson touches the court. And because of that, Cougars back in control of the serve, down by 3. 12 serving 15, it is Vales. Vales' serve, kind of a low one. Coming up to play it was Mullane. Mosher now. Here comes Hoffman, a floater. Bruns picks it back up. That goes out. Did it touch? It did not. CUC point. 15-13, Edgewood. Here's Vales. Gerke. And he sets up Dermody. The Cougars played off the ceiling. And now 4-touch rule called on CUC as it hit the net. So 16-13. Patterson hits the net on the serve. As they send Tiki Johnson back to serve for CUC. Down by 2, the Cougars are 16-14. Serve is up and good. Eagles play it. Harches blocked up front and out, however, so Eagles point 17-14. Both coaches have one timeout remaining this set, as you got to think if this pace continues, Coach Manos going to start thinking about using it. Cougars looking to avoid falling in that 2-0 set hole, 2-0 match hole, 2-1 match hole. There we go. That's the numbers we're looking for. It's still spring break technically. Everyone getting back in shape here, even on the broadcasting side of things, as J.R. Stella back to serve for CUC, back within 2. Strong serve there. Gerke sets up Harches. That block goes out. Edgewood point. So Cougars running into the problem they did in set 1. Wherever they start to inch closer, Edgewood able to pull away again. Mosher for Hoffman. That block goes out. Patterson made chase, but not able to get there in time. And that makes it 18-16 in favor of Edgewood still, as Deontay Garcia ready to serve. Patterson receives it. Gerke. That is a good kill there for Hill-Zastrow. Pings it in the corner. Some accuracy as well as some velocity. And that makes it 19-16 as Gerke ready to serve. Strong hit by Beckman. Sails into the Edgewood bench. It's 20-19. As the Eagles 5 away from claiming set 3. Whistle's blowing a late timeout by Coach Manos. The Eagles were just about ready to serve. Instead, we're going to take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network. The trail here in set 3, 20-16. They are tied in the match with the Eagles 1-1. As we'll have more set 3 for you in just a second on the Cougar Sports Network.
Hey there, we appreciate you tuning into today's game. To stay up to date on all things CUC men's volleyball, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUC MVP. We'll see you on campus soon.
Timeout's breaking up here in Geisman. The Eagles ready to serve as they lead the Cougars 20-16 in set 3, looking to take a 2-1 lead in the match. They would have an opportunity, of course, to win in set 4. And a favorable tip at the net. Van Gato saves it for CUC. And a kill there by Hills Astrow, just barely gets it around Deontay Garcia. And that makes it 21-16 now. Gerke, Vales from Mosher. Mosher pops it back. Vales sends it over, skims the net. Doesn't face the Eagles. Here's Patterson. A no-look attempt there. Cougars, able to read it. And now that ball was brought down, and finally it touches the court on CUC's side. As it is 22-16. The Eagles on a 4-0 scoring run, coming at the worst possible time for the Cougars. Gerke. Serve hits the top of the net. Pancake there by David Vales, keeps it alive. And this dig over to the Cougars bench. Patterson again running after it. We've seen him do that a couple times. He's really adamant about trying to get those out of bounds balls. Unsuccessful so far in this set. As the Cougars back down by 5. Gerke. Patterson. That ball popped up. Takes a couple bounces in the ceiling. As Vales. There's Bruns for Gerke. That attempt goes over. And here comes Vales. A strong hit. Does it touch any Eagles? It does not. And that is going to make it 23-17. Jack Mullane. 23 serving 17. Number 11 for Edgewood gives the ball a couple bounces. Serve is up and just over the net. Van Gato's there to receive it. And Stella, that goes nowhere. Mulane's able to stop it. Patterson, Gato's able to stop it. Mosher for Stella again, and Mulane can't get in front of that one enough as it lands in the behind the Edgewood bench. Bad angle there for Jack Mulane as Mosher ready to serve. Gerke for Hicks. That ball was blocked and lands back on the Edgewood side. They control it. Blocked again. Gato able to pick it up off the block. Here's Vales and a good one-handed dig by Bruns. Gato there again. Mosher for Stella. Patterson for Gerke. And Gato pops that one way up. Mosher able to pick it up. And that attempt lands at the feet of Danny Coates, assistant coach for CUC. And the Cougars inch a little closer, 23-19. Here's a Mosher. Lane. Gerke. And a dig off of Gato lands right in the chest of Sean Beckman. There's a rocket off the serve and then off the dig of Gato as Sean Beckman taking a second to recover. Hit him a little below the chest, let's say. As serving for set point is the Eagles. Mosher for Stella. Stella, and that ball's still alive for now, and it hits the back wall. You cannot play it off of the wall, so the Cougars not done yet. Sean Beckman is back on his feet on the bench for anyone wondering. Still shaking off that unfortunate bounce off of Van Gato's dig. And the Eagles are going to call a timeout here now. Interesting move by Coach Jeff Thomas as he wants to get his team in sorts before the Cougars can mount any kind of comeback as they trail 24-20. Edgewood playing for set point as they already break out the timeout. I think Coach Thomas just wanting to give his team a second to reset here. So while the Cougars will wrap up their timeout, why don't we look at the schedule for all CUC athletics. This was not the only CUC game in action as the baseball team was wrapping up their trip down in Florida, the Russ Nat Central Florida Invitational. Their annual spring break trip ended today, a 10-1 loss at the hands of the College of New Jersey. So baseball will make their way back to campus today. They got a long day of travel ahead of them as well. As for the upcoming week, the first week back from spring break and week 9 of 16 in the second semester, we are rapidly approaching the end of the school year. Men's volleyball, this squad will be back in action on Tuesday at Aurora University. Esports plays on Thursday. Men's tennis plays on Friday. Saturday, dance, baseball, and men's volleyball all in action. And then Sunday, wrapping up the week, stunt and baseball all compete. As that's a sneak peek at what we have ahead of us at CUC. And as for the third set, it ends 25-20 in favor of Edgewood. So CUC will be playing for their match lives here in set 4. We'll have that for you in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Cougar Sports Network will be back in just a minute.
Nation, we love the support you give us on and off the court. We would love if you could help us with our athletic communication department with some donations. Hit the thank button. It's down in the lower left corner. This helps us continue to have the best live stream possible for some great Cougar men's volleyball moments. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the
Concordia University Chicago is a Christ-centered Lutheran university where truth, freedom, and vocation form students for lives of influence and service for the common good. Our university offers a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate degree options that are available in person and online. That means we have a program designed for you. Whether you're a high school student, an adult returning to complete your degree, or someone looking to enhance your credentials and prepare for career growth. As a member of this university community, you'll also find support in your spiritual and personal life so you can grow in the faith and discover ways to serve others. To start your next journey with us, visit cuchicago.edu today.
We're about ready to start set 4 here in Geisman Gymnasium. Cougars, they trail the Edgewood Eagles 2-1. They'll be playing for their match life here. Thanks for tuning in to the Cougar Sports Network. Peter Borkowski on the call with you. Let's look at some of the team stats before we resume play here. A lot of the stats are really neck and neck. Excuse me, in terms of the hitting percentage, Edgewood is up 221 to 173, so that gap has closed from when I mentioned it during the first set. But other than that, a lot of these sets, neck and neck, kills 42 to 38 in favor of the Eagles. Attack errors, the Cougars have 19 to the Eagles 17. Service errors 7 to 5. Eagles have more of those. Service aces 2 to 1. The Eagles also have more of those. Blocks 5 to 4 in favor of the Eagles. Digs 48-48. So all these stats, neck and neck, but the score right now in favor of the Cougars, 1-0, an opening block as CUC. First time we've seen them score first in a set, so we'll see what fortune that brings. Eli Mosher, that barely gets over the net, and now a hit, and it goes out. And it's going to touch some Cougars first, so 1-1 is our score as Hicks ready to serve for Edgewood. Coach Thomas must love sending out Desirian Hicks to serve first, as he's done it for Edgewood in every set. Every time they've served, he's been the first one to do so, as David Vales gets a kill here. Cougars trying to avoid a 4th straight loss. Edgewood trying to break their 4-game losing streak, as both these teams only have 1 win in conference right now. And a lapse in communication. Jacob Bruns' body language kind of said it all. Just put his hands on his knees. And that was very clearly, like I said, a lack of communication. No one picked up the ball. And that means the Cougars, their best start to a set tonight, up 3-1. They're going to need it, as they cannot afford to lose this set. A block up front, finger wag. Kembe Mutombo-like from J.R. Stella. Says no, 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 and that makes it 4-1 now. Here is Vales. Vales a serve, high arcing. Edgewood able to easily play it. Harches, a rocket. Gato can't get low enough in time, and that makes it 4-2. Gavin Patterson, what a game he is having. 16 kills, 11 digs for the double-double. And stretching out, Hoffman, and Mosher saves it, running towards the scorer's table. And Gato not able to get in front of that one enough. It goes off his arms and backwards. And it's now 4-3 in favor of the Cougars. Patterson hits the top of the net. The Cougars can play it. Mosher for Hoffman, and Hoffman off the blocker's hands and down. It'll be Tiki Johnson. Johnson's serve is good. Bruns, a weird reception. The Eagles are able to recover. Harches sends it over. There's Mosher. Here comes Stella. Stella, a floater. Bruns comes in, dives for it. Patterson hits inside the line. What a hit from Patterson. In between the front and back row, and he pins it inside the line. And it's now 5-4, still in favor of the Cougars, but Edgewood, as they haven't done all night, are not going away quietly. Here's Dermody. Hoffman off the blocker's hands. Took a nice spin as Bruns cannot pick it up. 6-4 now. CC back up by 2. Here's J.R. Stella. Stella, it's the top of the net. And right time, right place, David Vales. And now the Cougars get the kill. Cougars, this is the sharpest they've looked at the beginning of any set as they are up 7-4. J.R. Stella ready to serve now. Patterson, a bad reception, a service ace for J.R. Stella, and that is 8-4 now. CUC haven't really been able to pull away from any set here, as they pulled away at the end of their set 2 victory, but other than that, they've been neck and neck with the Eagles, or the Eagles are the ones pulling away. And how about another service ace? Two for the price of one server, and that's going to force a timeout by Coach Jeff Thomas. He's got to get his Eagles under control. They're struggling here to open set 4 as they trail the Cougars 9-4. So we're going to take a break and be back in just a second. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network, CUC on top of Edgewood here in set 4, 9-4.
Hey there, we appreciate you tuning into today's game. To stay up to date on all things CUC men's volleyball, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUC MVP. We'll see you on campus soon.
Timeout breaking up for the Eagles as they trail CUC 9-4. And J.R. Stella has a big reason to quote Soulja Boy, which is blasting through the gym right now. J.R. Stella has been cranking those service aces, as he will not get one here, but the Cougars are still alive. Here comes Beckman, a floater from Beckman. Patterson is there. Harches, ball still up. Cougars got to get it over. They do. Good hit by Mosher to get it over. And a big block up front. The Eagles recover, though. Here comes Patterson again, and that is still alive. Great defense by Van Gato and J.R. Stella. Harches again blocked up front. We got ourselves a good volley here. Hoffman sends one out, and that'll end it. But good defense on the front and back rows from both squads. Cougars receive the Eagles serve. Falling forward to pick it up was number 17, Bryce Robel. First time we've seen him tonight. And it must be a lucky charm because the Eagles get a point out of it as he goes back to serve now. One of 3 non-Wisconsinites on this Edgewood squad. He's from Plainfield, Illinois. The 6-foot sophomore setter. There's Vales. Mosher goes for Hoffman. Goes for Hoffman. I am correct. There we go. Again, we're just coming back from spring break. Everybody a little rusty. As Hoffman now goes back to serve. His squad up by 4, 10-6. Serve is up and over. A 50-50 ball. Vales tried to stuff it, but Gerke was there to do the same. And now this ball almost hit the ground. Mosher saves it. Freebie by Vales is sent over. The Eagles set up their attack. Hicks gets the kill. Makes it 10-7. Gerke gets the serve call from his coach, Jeff Thomas. Thomas up front and vocal with his team as he is standing not too far outside the out-of-bounds line. Compare that to the style of Coach Manos, who likes to sit on his seat on the bench and come up every once in a while to give serve signs like he's doing now, or convey information to his team. Coach Manos, a very laid-back personality, able to keep things nice and calm for his team, which sometimes when you have such a young team like he does, that's the best thing a coach can do, is just keep them under control. Coach Manos does a great job of doing that as his team is up 3 points here, 11-8, as Moulin gets set to serve for his Eagles. Hoffman gets the dig and a huge hit. It's blocked. Does it go out? It does not. So Edgewood point back within 2 now, 11-9. Here is Moulin. A rocket of a serve. Goodness gracious. Almost put a hole in the wall, in the back wall. That thing was on a rope. I think that back wall is cinder block, because that could do some damage if it was of a lesser material. Cougars cannot follow up with the point. Their lead dwindles down to 2 now, 12-10, as Hicks goes back to serve. Gato, and that ball is dunked by Harches. Gato's dig went over the net. Harches just had to clean up the mess, and Eagles back within 1 now. 11 serving 12. Here's Hicks. He opened up the day at the service line. Way back in set 1. Block up front. The Cougars play it. Here comes Vales. Blocked again, and we are tied up here in set 4. 12-12, first to 13. As the Eagles look much improved since Coach Thomas used his first time out of the set. Coach Manos still has both of his. Gazovsky blocked up front. Hart just pushes it over. Cougars able to recover. Vales, a floater. Now Moulin, that's blocked up front and touches earth. And that'll force Manos to use his first time out of the set as his team, thanks to a 4-0 scoring run from the Eagles, now trail 13-12. We'll take a break here on the Cougar Sports Network. CUC has seen their lead switch sides, so we'll have more action for you in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Cougar Sports Network.
Thanks for tuning in to today's game. For more information on the men's volleyball program, tune in to CUCougars.com. We hope to see you at our next game.
Timeout over as both teams work their way out to the court. 4-0 scoring run for Edgewood. They take a 13-12 lead in set 4, trying to clinch this match and break a 4-game skid they are on, while the Cougars, they got to come back, trying to add a 3-game skid that they are on, as these two teams are struggling as of recently. And that ball stays inside the line. Patterson ties J.R. Stella with 18 kills for the match lead. He's having himself an incredible game. One of 3 Eagles in double-digit kills. He's got 18. Harches has got 14, and Hills Astrow's got 10. And the Cougars end the 5-0 Edgewood run. Get a kill, back within 1 now, 14-13, as Vales ready to serve. Gerke, Harches blocked up front. J.R. Stella and Leon Gazovsky 6'5" and 6'3" at the front net. That's going to do you some good. And because of it, the Cougars have tied it up at 14 apiece. Gerke sets up Patterson. Patterson, he cannot be stopped. He's hitting the ball over 420. He gets his 19th kill of the day, almost at 20, as he goes back to serve now. 19 kills, 12 digs for Patterson. No service aces. So he won't get one on this attempt. And Mosher, good hit there. Clips the hands of Gerke up front. That changes the trajectory that Bruns can't get to it. And again, we're tied up at 15 now, as it is the first to 10. Tiki Johnson checks in for CUC to serve. Serve is good. Bruns is there to receive it. Harches gets the kill off the blocker's hands. And Edgewood back in front now. Here's Dermody. Dead silent in the gym leading up to the serve as Hoffman silences the Eagles with that kill. It's now 16-16. J.R. Stella ready to serve for the Cougars. Gets the sign from Coach Coates and Coach Manos, both of them delivering signs. As a floater, Hoffman kind of got caught off guard, and then finishing it off was Hill Zastrow. As they're back in front now. Back to serve is Robel. Serve is good. Hoffman, Mosher, here comes Stella. Big block up front. Combo of Hicks and Hill Zastrow. And it is 18-16 as the Cougars are starting to enter do or die time. They are 7 points away from losing this match. Hoffman off the blocker's hands and able to recover it was Dermody. Another block up front from Edgewood. This one lands back on the CUC side. Floater from Stella goes nowhere. Dermody, that ball's popped up. Mosher saves it. He does not, in fact, excuse me. And that'll force Manos to use another timeout here, as his team is down 19-16. So how about another break here on the Cougar Sports Network? CUC 6 points away from losing this match. Edgewood trying to break their 4-game losing streak. See what happens when we're back here on the Cougar Sports Network in just a second.
Interested in finding out more about Concordia Chicago? Head to cuchicago.edu for information on our university. We appreciate you turning into today's game and hope to see you at CUC very soon.
Robel to serve for the Eagles as we break up the timeout. His team is up 19-16, looking to close out the Cougars here in set number 4 and win this set 3-1. Cougars, they got to win 2 straight sets, and that's not a good start coming out of the timeout. Sean Beckman, too much sauce on that hit, as it is now 20-16. Cougars now at that phase where they're going to need a decent run of points here to come back in this set. Edgewood needs 5 to win. Cougars still need 9. Gato receives it. Mosher sets up. Hoffman, does it touch any fingertips? It does. Eagles ruffles some feathers before it goes out, and because of it, the Cougars back in control of the service line. Again, they need a streak here as they're going to bring in Deontay Garcia to try and start one. Or try to continue one, I should say. That has already started. They did score the point. See if they can get 2 straight here as number 1 in the white jersey checks in. The serve is good. Gerke for Hicks off the blocker's hands. Mosher's able to play it off the block. Garcia for Stella. No good there. Patterson as a behind-the-back flip from Gerke. A little trickery as that's even got Coach Thomas smiling on the sideline. His team is now 4 away from clinching the match. Vales, strong hit, and that'll go out of bounds off some Edgewood hands. And that's going to be a kill for Hill Zastrow. 22-18. Eagles looking to close this one out. Here's Mulane. Mulane, strong serve. There's Gato. Mosher for Vales. A floater that is picked up by Dermody. Blocked up front. And Hicks able to recover it. And there's another hit and a kill for Dermody. Cougars are out of timeouts. This is a point where you'd probably like to use one as your team, if your Coach Manos, is just 2 away from dropping this match. 2 points away from dropping this match, to be more specific. As here is Mulane. Strong serve. Does it stay in bounds? It does not. That was a call of inches from Rian Valera, the line judge on that side. So the Cougars inch a point closer, 23-19. A little reference for all our Monsters Inc. fans out there. As Cougars trying to pull off something scary here. That takes a hit off the basketball hoop. And it is sent back over. Good recovery from the Eagles. Vales, that's blocked up front. Good defense all around from the Eagles. Another block up front. It's a block party for Edgewood as this one finally gets over the blockers and lands out of bounds. Bruns gave chase. Almost went headfirst into the bench. Luckily, he's okay. But the Eagles drop that point. 23-20 now. Bruns lays out for it. Dermody and Gato digs it right back. Ball is still being bounced around. Bruns able to get it back. Mosher, he's going to go for Gazovsky, who pushes that out of bounds, and there it is. Match point for the Eagles. They're up 24-20. Cougars need a 4-0 run here, and that'll just force extra volleyball. Henry got to win by 2. So CUC cannot drop a point unless they score another 4 straight, and that's a help to the Cougars. Hicks not able to close it out on the serve. So now the mark is at 3 straight as they're going to have David Vales come back to serve. Cougars cannot afford a mistake here. Vales' serve is good. Mulane. Dermody goes for Patterson, and Mosher comes in to save the day. Hoffman, no good. Gerke, and that'll do it. Edgewood clinches it 25-21 here in set 4, and they win the match 3-1. The Cougars, they drop their 4th straight match as they now fall to 6-11 on the season, 1-4 in conference play. Edgewood, meanwhile, they improved to 6-12, 2-4 in conference play after their 3-1 victory here in Geisman. Let's go over some of the stats leaders from today. In terms of kills, Gavin Patterson, what a day he had, 19. He leads all players. J.R. Stella had 18. That led all Cougars. In terms of digs, Van Gato had another great day at the libero position. He had 16. Jacob Bruns, the Edgewood libero, as well as Gavin Patterson, they both led their team with 14. The assist, Will Gerke coming away with 45. Not too far behind him was Eli Mosher with 42. Blocking-wise, it was Hicks with 4, Desirian Hicks, while numerous players had 3, including Leon Gazovsky and Sean Beckman for the Cougars. And the points leader, it was Jackson Stella at the end of the day with 22. Gavin Patterson finished Edgewood leader in that category with 20 and a half. But that'll do it for this CUC men's volleyball game. They fall to the Eagles 3-1. They'll be back at it this Tuesday, March 12th, when they take on Aurora University at Aurora. That is a 7 p.m. start time. Aurora, a very tough team, the runner-up in the NAC conference game last year, so Cougars have their work cut out for them. But I want to say thanks to everybody making this Cougar Sports Network production possible, especially here at the end of spring break. Janie Turnez, Amaya Martin down at the scorers table. Ashley Schroll helping out with stats. And then our lone producer for the day was Emily Balaban. We're under the direction of our Assistant Sports Information Director, Sydney Palaska-Slaher, and our Sports Information Director, who is still working her way back from Florida, Kayla McLeod. But that'll do it for today's broadcast. Once again, Cougars fall 3-1 to the Edgewood Eagles. They'll be back at it Tuesday, March 12th, 7 p.m. at Aurora University. They will be back home not for a while until March 26th. That is a Tuesday. They take on the Illinois Institute of Technology right here at Geisman. But they still have a ways to go, a couple road games in between then. But until then, this is Peter Borkowski signing off of the Cougar Sports Network and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.